it is that most of the people who are living in the south of Brazil are white. This is the area where I told you that most business is done there. And the Paro is a mixture of, you can say, all other groups. You can have white Paros to completely black Paros in the painting of their skin. In 2008, 196 million people lived in Brazil, and as you can see, there is an increase of 6 million people from 2007 to 2008. And as you know, Austria has something about 8 million people. Then the ethnic groups. This is Brazil, and this is the south, where most business is done, and this green area is the area where the white people are living. And nearly 50% of the whole inhabitants of Brazil are white. They are coming from Portugal, from Italy. These are the biggest parts. What I found really interesting is that the mean age in Brazil is 28. In comparison to Austria, it is about 42 or 43. And we will see that in future it will be a big advantage for this country. But on the other side, 22% of the people are living in poorness. I'm not sure. Last time Bernd and Andreas talked about India, and I can't remember how many people are living in poorness in India.
We never thought about this number.
Oh,
That's the reason why I can't remember.
then it's not legit. So my next point is the climate. The north of Brazil is mostly tropical, but all in all they have 6 climatic regions, and here you have 3 examples. This is the north region, which is tropical. This is in the south, and this is somewhere in the middle of Brazil. And if you look on the temperature, it seems to be nearly the same. Maybe in the south, in June and July, it is getting a little bit cold for that country. But where a big difference is in the precipitation. And there you can see in the tropical area, they have a lot of rain in the summer months. My next point is the economy of Brazil. They have a total GDP of $2 trillion per year, and most of that is from the steel industry or automobiles, computers, aircraft, or the banking sector. Here I have an example for the cars that are produced in Brazil. I will use the pointer. In 1960, only 42,000 units per year were produced, and it increased to something about 600,000 in 1990. But in 2007 they nearly reached the 3 million units per year production, and so you can see this very big increase in a very short period of time. The next point that I found very, very interesting is that they nearly produce enough oil for the whole country. As you can see, something about 2 million barrels per day production and consumption. So it is not necessary for Brazil to import big amounts of oil. And the next point is the export and the import. In 2006, they have a total export of $150 billion, and the imports were only about 78 billion. So they export more than they are going to import. Important resources of Brazil are oil, as you see in the slide before, then the iron ore. At the moment, Brazil is the world's biggest supplier for iron ore. And what is going to become an important resource is the very young population. As I told you some slides before, the mean age of 28 will become a big advantage in future. So, future development. The export will increase, also the total GDP. As I told, the young population will be a big advantage, but on the other side, there will also be a bigger gap between the poor and the rich people. So that was my part about present and future. Now I will hand over to Robert, who will give you some information about the past.
First, I want to welcome you to my part of the presentations. I will have three main parts. The first one is the history of Brazil. The second part is the carnival in Brazil, which is a very important thing, and soccer. The Brazilian history started in the year 1500, where Pedro Cabral, a Portuguese explorer, reached the coast from Brazil. And the first settlement of Portuguese people was in the year 1532. It was in São Vicente in the state São Paulo. And when the Pedro Cabral, the Portuguese explorer, arrived at this coast, the population was numbered not more than 1 million inhabitants of Indians. The development in the country was very slow, and the first push was the demand of the sugar. And with this demand, they have a real export from the sugar cane to other countries. This was the first big cycle in Brazil. The second one is the time at wheat and gold. Gold and diamonds were discovered in the year 1700 in Brazil. That started the gold cycle era. And in the year 1763, Rio de Janeiro supplanted Bahia. I don't know if this spelling spelled right, but Bahia was the capital in this year. And in 1822, Brazil became an empire with a monarchy. And at this time, Dom Pedro, he declared Brazil's independent, and Brazil became, as I told before, an empire. But while the rest of the other countries in South and North America stayed at a republic. Pedro's personality was enigmatic, so he was not the easiest man. And after the disastrous war with Argentina in the year 1825, between 1825 and 1828, and after a revolt in Rio, he was abdicated in favor of his son Dom Pedro II. And this is a picture from him. Dom Pedro II was remembered for the overseeing the abolition of the slavery. In 1889, Brazil became a republic, as I told before, and with the new Republican government, there started a new cycle, which are the rubber cycle, and in this time period they had great profits, and with these profits they built a lot of houses, opera houses and other buildings. But there was one fact why this system collapsed. It was about the military and the republic government. They planned a coup, and they overthrew the